The enemy's strategy is to create discord so it can enforce a monopoly. Does that make sense?
Yes, because it wants to force its will on everybody else
It wants to
through the stress.
Authority.
Yes.
They try, in other words, the reason they create this conflict is generate demand for authority, which they will provide. Whereas Western civilization, we are trying to do the opposite. We're trying to create harmony so that people can bubble up into a constantly rotating aristocracy.
Meritocracy, so the best people can do their thing and have a chance.
Right, because we've always been the small people on the edge of civilization, right? And so we need excellence to come up, and that's how one of the reasons we've been so successful is we create markets between the classes. And under Greece, under Rome, and even under the medieval period, you could get your way, you could escalate your condition if you were able to demonstrate it.
Yes, and our enemies want to do the opposite.
Exactly.
Yes.
They want to create discord so they can impose a monopoly, as if has worked so fantastically in the Middle East where all this stuff comes from.
Right, it's disastrous.
In the world's biggest shithole, with the world's least pleasant people, right, who caused the world the most suffering, who caused the world the most damage in human history, who've destroyed the 5 great civilizations of the ancient world and trying to destroy ours in India, and thankfully China's trying to resist them, and we wonder why that the way they work should work here.
So this is a lot of your intent here is to stop this. Then
it's really to put us back on our traditional trajectory that's dragged humankind, including ourselves, out of ignorance, poverty, starvation, hard labor, suffering, child mortality, and early death, and nature, and the being victims of nature that tries to exterminate us about every 50,000 years.
Yes, absolutely.
So the second is to restore it to its original intent, right, which is to put this structure of restore the European Federation of small states, where we have the maximum competition between states and the maximum number of markets for people with differences, and so that we are always optimally calculating every possibility.
Instead of a huge federal bureaucracy just kind of controlling everything like an octopus.
Well, monopolies are bad.
Yes.
The only value of size is war.
Mm-hmm.
So the third is controversial, which is the failure of the integration, the failure of multiculturalism. I mean, it's fairly well known in the educational literature that integration has failed. Everywhere they've tried it, it's failed.
Yes.
It's pretty well documented now that it's failed everywhere we've tried it, no matter what. Whenever groups with different interests come up against each other, it's proximity that creates hostility, because we have different sexual, social, economic, and political market values. And when we come into contact with each other, we come into conflict with each other.
Yes. So multiculturalism has failed, etc.
And the democracy simply makes an open license for people to enter into political conflict with each other.
Yeah, so I think this is a problem the audience is going to be very, very well aware of. And so one of your goals is to fix that problem?
Correct. And the fourth, it's a set of restitutions to compensate for that crime.
Okay. So some restitutions that restore
our
way of doing things, restoring how we've gone backwards.
Right. And they escalate in face of resistance.
Okay. So the more resistance we get, the more punishment is doled out to them.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense.
So basically there should be something to offend everyone.
Well, I tell you, Kurt, I read it and I love it. So,
somebody made my day today. I feel bad. I can't remember his name, but I've had a bad week for a bunch of reasons, because the chipmunks are annoying me, so to speak. And he said, well, you don't have to worry, because there's millions of people out there who want this, and they're the only ones that matter.
Yes, that's right. The ones that want this actually, if you do the analysis, have the most ability to project power at the end of the day.
So something to offend everyone, including naming the enemy and the enemies and explaining their strategy, and
Yes.
I'm not gentle about it. It's a prosecution like you'd hear in court. It's not kind.